So two more Premier League matches played on Friday evening. The first of them at Carrow Road, Norwich at home to Southampton. Pukki and Cantwell were up front for the Canaries. Vestergaard was on the bench for Saints, but Redmond back. He had some injuries before the lockdown. Into the early action, McLean had a shot from distance on 6 minutes, which went just wide, and Norwich looked to have the better of the early moments. On 17 minutes though, Godfrey got caught in possession by Ings, who just inside the Canaries half. It was a great chase to the penalty box. Ings managed to get his shot away, but it was blocked. But a warning for the Canaries. 29 minutes, another interesting corner, but Krul was far able to handle this effort from Armstrong, handling it comfortably. 4 minutes later, Ings again broke, and his strike hit the upright. And then in added time in the first half, Buendia, a lovely cross, but the player was in an offside position, so it wouldn't have counted if it had gone in. So that was 0-0 at the break, but Southampton meant business, and within 3 minutes Ings actually opened the scoring after a slight fortuitous touch that fell to him in the box, but his slick shot went in the corner. Krul no chance, 1-0 Southampton. 5 minutes later, Redmond, who'd been looking dangerous, linked up with Ings, and the ball was fed to Armstrong, and his left foot shot on the edge of the area found the corner, and they doubled their lead. They were now 2-0 up. 10 minutes later, Aarons managed to block an Armstrong effort, denying a third. And then there was an effort for Pukki, which was blocked. And there was another opportunity just after that for Norwich that ended up in the net, but the player was clearly offside. 78 minutes, the points were sealed. Redmond slides in for the third. And it was, again, a great move by the Saints. And it was just inside the box that he hit the corner. So that was about it. A woeful performance from Norwich, really, but Southampton continuing to look a good side on the eye, very, very good in front of goal, and Hussenhaller must be well pleased. Final score, Norwich 0, Southampton 3. Right, the second match then was at White Hart Lane. Spurs against Manchester United. It looked a bit odd, really, empty stadium, of course, but Mourinho was happy. He got Kane and Son back. Of course, before the break, they were both on the sidelines. Vertonghen and Alderweireld both on the bench, surprisingly. Pogba was selected on the bench with Matic. Rashford back up front with Martial. Not a lot to report, really, for the first quarter. We did get a header from across from the right for United, led to a very poor clearance by Sanchez that went to Rashford, but his strike was kicked clear by Lloris. A few minutes later, Fernandes' cross come shot was dealt with again by Lloris on the 6-yard line. And then on the break, a minute later, Bergwijn, very nippy, he picked the ball up. He was far too quick for Maguire, left him for dead, and then he hit a sweet shot which De Gea made a complete hash of. It sort of hit his body and went in the corner. Another error by the keeper, the United keeper. Serious questions to be asked, I think, about his current performance, but the result was Spurs were 1 up. 31 minutes, another break by Bergwijn, and the right cross to the far post saw Son's header. This time De Gea performed well to push it over. And then we had a shot from distance from Fernandez, but again Lloris was there to deal with it. So 1-0 at the break. Into the second half, further efforts from distance from Fernandez on 53, just wide. Still he's looking the part in that red shirt. And then Pogba came on and he started to link very well with Fernandez. A 63rd minute effort where led to the ball coming to Martial. But his shot was a little slow really in getting his shot away, and it was blocked easy by Lloris. Lloris then made a superb save from Martial, but finally on 79 minutes, Pogba on the right, jinking into the box at the byline, and he got bundled over by Dyer. Referee pointed to the penalty spot. Fernandez stepped up, hit it in the left corner, 1-1. We looked like we were trundling to the final whistle level. Then a minute left, another penalty awarded for United. This one looked extremely soft. Fernandez looked like a dive on the replay, and in fact VAR overturned it, so no pen. And we ran out the last 3 or 4 minutes with United on the front foot. But it was about right, 1-1. Of course, the managers saw the penalties completely different. In fact, Jose didn't think the first was a penalty, although that looked pretty clear to me. But anyway, he was happy with his strike force coming back. Solskjaer was happy with the return of Pogba. And so there we had it. Final score at the new White Hart Lane. Spurs 1, Manchester United 1.
Now to highlights of Bournemouth versus Crystal Palace. Again, my website, the highlights were really minuscule, and it boiled down to 2 pieces of class from Crystal Palace. First, the teams though. Bournemouth were at full strength really. Palace had McCarthy on the bench and Saka there as well. 11 minutes, a free kick just outside the box on the left, and Mihajlovic curved it in, and it was 1-0 for Palace. And then 10 minutes later, beautiful move, Zaha set up Van Aanholt, whose cross was put away neatly by Ayew on the penalty box. That was 2-0. That was how it finished. Bournemouth really struggling now, still third from bottom. Final score, Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 2. So to the Amex and Brighton versus Arsenal. Ozil was on the bench. Lacazette selected up front with Aubameyang. 5 changes for Arteta from that defeat at the Etihad. Brighton at full strength, really. 4 minutes, a defensive error let in Aubameyang, but his shot went well wide. And then on 7 minutes, a good start from Arsenal. Saka hit the bar from 25 yards. And the same player, crossed from the left, found Lacazette, and his header forced a good save from Ryan. I didn't see in the highlights, but there was an incident which led to Leno having to be replaced, Maupay involved. So the replacement goalkeeper on 41 was forced to make a good save from Moy, but it was goalless at the break. And then 2 minutes into the second half, Aubameyang on the left beat the defender, and again Ryan had to be sharp to make a good save. And then Aubameyang got the ball in the net on 52, but he was ruled offside, only very marginally. 55 minutes, a good cross to the far post this time. Brighton on the attack. Maupay hit the target, but the goal kick was good enough. And 65 minutes, Ryan's feet again denied Aubameyang. Then on 67, Saka, who continued to impress, crossed and found Pepe on the right, and he jinked inside and whipped a lovely left foot shot into the corner. to put Arsenal in front. They weren't ahead for long. 7 minutes later, an equaliser, a cute corner from Brighton. The Arsenal defender asleep. They went to the byline. The cross was scrambled over the line, and Dunk got the last touch, and that was level 1-1. 79 minutes, Aubameyang, a 30-yard strike, caused a slight problem for Ryan, but he managed to batter it away. And then in added time, 94 minutes, nice wall pass in the box, set up Maupay, who managed to clip up the ball over the advancing goalkeeper into the net. Brighton had snatched it. Final score then, Brighton 2, Arsenal 1. So to the London Stadium then, West Ham at home to Wolves. No Haller, he's injured. Yarmolenko and Lanzini were on the bench for the Hammers. Wolves, Neto on the bench, and Traore was there. I didn't see a lot of this game. The highlights reel was pretty minimal. It has to be said in the first half there were very few clear-cut chances. The best came to Jota. He had a couple. West Ham were pretty toothless up front, although their defence was fairly solid, but it was goalless at the break. But then Traore came on, and he made an immediate impact on 72 minutes, dancing down the right. He was too nippy for the defence, got a great cross in, and Raul Jimenez was on the end of it to head home, and that was 1-0. I didn't actually see the second goal, which arrived 10 minutes later, but Traore again involved, and Neto volleyed home a Matt Doherty cross to put the team from Molineux 2-0 up, and that's how it finished. West Ham, well, I didn't see anything really to suggest that they're going to immediately start climbing the table. The final score then at the London Stadium was West Ham 0, Wolves 2. So the opening salvo on Saturday. We were at the Amex, and it was... we were at the Vicarage Road. Amex, no. At Vicarage Road for Watford versus Leicester. Watford still not out of the mire. Leicester looking to cement that Champions League place. Deeney was in for Watford. No Delafeu. And for Leicester, Perez on the bench. And no Pereira at right back, otherwise at full strength. Early action then. 10 minutes. Chilwell, always good going forward down that left. His cross though, Dawson managed to clip it behind in front of Vardy, so that danger averted. 15 minutes and an error let in Vardy, but his effort was high and wide. Then there's a drinks break at 23 minutes. It didn't appear all that hot. But Leicester bossing the possession, but not any great chances. 32 minutes, Watford coming back into it a bit more, and Hughes in the thick of things, very combative. 33 minutes, Doucouré had an effort on the edge of the box, but it went well wide. And then Schmeichel managed to save from his leg as from the same player, Doucouré, on 34 minutes. And Pereira managed to get the ball over 41 minutes. But again, Doucouré had it, but Schmeichel, good enough, nipped in ahead. So we got into added time, and there was a late chance for Watford, but it went over the bar. So goalless at the break then. Second half continued much the same. It lacked spark, the game, to be honest. It lacked spark. Maddison was involved throughout. 46 minutes, he had a free kick about 30 metres out, but the wall did its job, and Sarr was giving Chilwell some headaches down that his right flank, and he got in a shot, but it was blocked by the keeper. But on the hour, we'd seen few clear-cut chances. Gray came on for Leicester, replacing can't remember his name now, but replacing the guy on the left, and he had a curling shot almost immediately, which went just over. After good work by Barnes, he replaced Barnes. And then on 74 minutes, some neat work again by Gray, cross from the left to the far right, and Albrighton connected on the volley, and it rattled the woodwork. And the follow-up came to Maddison, whose shot was tipped away by Foster, creeping towards full time, and then 89 minutes, a great crossfield pass from the right by Gray found Chilwell advancing into the box, and he hit an absolutely stupendous shot 20 yards out that whistled past Foster into the top corner, and they'd snatched the lead, the Foxes. It was 1-0. Then Watford, of course, running out of time, got a corner on 93 minutes, and the ball was crossed, headed on, and Dawson in the 6-yard area, an audacious bicycle kick, and it smashed past Schmeichel, who made a brave effort, but he just couldn't keep it out, and so we had the equaliser in the 94th minute. So, a tremendous finish to a rather ordinary match. The spoils were shared. Final score at Vicarage Road, not the Amex. Watford 1, Leicester 1.
So, the opening salvo then on Sunday. Premier League's back. Newcastle at home to Sheffield United. Fleck was back for Sheffield United. He didn't play in the week, slight injury. Just a point, 5 subs allowed now since the resumption. This is to assist in perhaps slight fitness issues, but surely this is going to be beneficial to the squads with extensive internationals in them. In other words, the teams with money. But nevertheless, it gives more options for the coach. Early action then, Ritchie in 12 minutes following Norwood giving the ball away just inside Sheffield's half, and Ritchie's strike, his shot was palm wide by Henderson. 5 minutes later, another good move by the Magpies involving St Maximin and Almiron, and they set up Linton, and he was one-on-one with the goalkeeper to the left of the goal, but his effort was really poor, and it was easy for Henderson. The first quarter of the match, bright start by the Blades, but Newcastle have been on top since about the 5-minute mark. 24 minutes, first half chance for the Blades. Sharp, 180 degrees swivel, hit the ball on the volley, but the shot was well over. Some neat football from the Magpies, I must admit. They look to be well in charge with their team passing, but Sheffield United looking sharp as well. But I still believe that these 3 talents, Almiron, St Maximum and Shelvey, such huge talent there, surely they can get Newcastle winning regularly. Goal scoring opportunities at a premium really, but both teams build up pretty good. Anyway, that was the first half. a 0-0. Into the second half then, and Linton was put clear after the ball fell nicely after a clearance, and he tussled with Egan, and he was ahead of Egan, and Egan grabbed him, and he was the last man basically. Now these two had a bit of a fisticuffs in the first half, and both received yellows. So the referee had no choice but to give Egan a second, so he was off. So Sheffield down to 10 men very early on in the second half. And it didn't take long for things to start to turn in Newcastle's favour. 52 minutes, a Hayden cross from the right. Good header this time from Linton, but again Henderson no problem. And then on 54 minutes, again, a little bit of a problem, gave the ball away, Sheffield, and just inside Newcastle's half, a delightful through ball across the box, and Stevens made a complete hash of it, completely missed the ball. And on the right, running in to the penalty area, was St Maximin, and his clinical finish hit the corner. Henderson no chance, and so Newcastle were 1-up. About a few minutes later, Sharp at the other end, deep in Newcastle's half, he fed Baldock on the right and ran in to accept the return, and he went very close. His header just wide, and then a further break by St Maximum. He was looking the class act on the pitch today. He got to the byline and he fed Almiron, whose shot was tame. Henderson again collecting easily. So we arrived at the 68th minute, and again a loss of possession by the Blades, and the ball ended up at Ritchie's field. He's just inside the box on the left side, and he hit an absolute belter, and it swept in the corner, and Henderson again no chance. So they doubled their lead, Newcastle. They were 2-up now. There was a slight opportunity for the Blades. Again, Sharp got to the byline with strength, but his ball fails to find. His ball was pulled back to Stevens on the edge of the box, and Stevens trying to make up for that error earlier, but his effort was well wide. And then on 77 minutes, Newcastle really totally in control now, and they swept in their third. Almiron, good work, and he set up Linton in the 6-yard box, who finished with aplomb. Linton had got a goal, and you could sense how relieved he was and excited about it. So Newcastle were 3-up now and cantering. There were a few other half chances at either end, but by this stage the substitutes were brought on. We saw Carroll make a brief appearance, and basically a really good day at the office for Steve Bruce. Not so happy Wildy. He was still miffed about the first half booking for Egan, but didn't quibble with the actual delivery of the second yellow. But anyway, that was it. Full time, St James's Park, Newcastle 3, Sheffield United 0. Second match up then was at Villa Park, Aston Villa versus Chelsea. Villa, of course, got a draw in the week, so they were relatively unchanged. I couldn't see any changes anyway. Chelsea, Willian in the starting lineup. There's been some speculation about whether he was going to be on the move. Giroud up front, Abrahams on the bench, and Loftus-Cheek making an appearance. That's been a rare event this season. Pulisic, the American, on the bench, as was James. 5 minutes, an early chance for Loftus-Cheek, and his header was a yard over from a cross. Mount, who looked good throughout, tested Nyland from distance on 20 minutes. Nyland still in for Rayner. 31 minutes, El Ghazi had a great shot from outside the box, which Kepa palmed round the post. And then on 39 minutes, again sharp work from Mount, a great pass across the 6-yard box, but the keeper managed to get a touch to it, which took it away from Loftus-Cheek. So to 42 minutes then, against the run of play, a speculation cross by Luiz from the right. The header was nodded back, and the second phase, there was Hawes got on the edge, on the end of the ball, and swiveled to clip it past Kepa, and he scooped in the rebound basically from Kepa's blockage to the first header, and so Villa surprisingly won up. 47 minutes, a corner by Kovacic, and Kovacic on the receiving end of the corner, hit a rasping shot which went just wide. And that was the score at the break then, 1-0 for Villa. Bags of possession though for Chelsea, and it continued in the second half. And on 60 minutes, Pulisic at the far post steers in a tantalising cross to level things up. 2 minutes later, and they completely turned it round. This time, Giroud turning in the box and sweeping it home after some neat work again by Pulisic. And there was a slight deflection on the final effort, but 2-1 for Chelsea. Hawes again in the action, just over on 67. But after that, Chelsea continued to dominate possession, and in fact, I would say that they had about 70% throughout the game. Still struggling putting that domination into goals, but it was no surprise when on 83, William, again looking dangerous, shot from distance, just wide. But that's how it finished. Chelsea thoroughly deserved this win, really. Lampard was delighted. Problems for Smith, of course, as they stare at relegation. Final score at Villa Park, though, was Aston Villa 1, Chelsea 2. The last of the Sunday matches was the Merseyside derby, Everton at home to Liverpool. Sigurdsson on the bench for Everton. Coleman starting at right back. Iwobi was preferred. And a first start for Gordon. I hadn't seen him before. Liverpool, no Robertson. He's got slight muscle strain. Milner in at left back. Salah also not quite 100%. And Minamino on the bench with him, with Oxlade-Chamberlain and Origi. Minamino was actually selected for Salah. Oxlade and Origi on the bench. I have to say that this highlights package was generally pretty disappointing. Richarlison had a half chance charging in, but his cross evaded Lewin by a yard. 9 minutes, Minamino strike, edge of the box, well wide. And on 29 minutes, a typical Arnold free kick from the right. A good chance for Matip, but his header went wide. And 31 minutes, Richarlison again went close with a header from a free kick. And 40 minutes, another free kick by Arnold, this time well held by Pickford. Goalless at the break then, and we had a little bit of activity. Gomez came on for Milner. Oxlade-Chamberlain came on. 60 minutes again, Richarlison, who probably looked the best striker on show. He had an effort, but it was way over, really, after getting clear on the right edge of the box. And then the chance, really, of the match on 79 minutes. Lewin ran onto this cross. He flicked the ball and it was going in the corner. Alisson managed to get fingertips to it, and it came out to Davis following up, who scuffed his shot a little bit, and it hit a post and then went away to safety. 92 minutes, Fabinho free kick, tipped over by Pickford, but that was about it. A rather disappointing goalless draw, but of course another point for Liverpool in their search of the title. Right, well that concludes the 2 matches on Friday, 3 on Sunday and 4 on Saturday. 9 out of your 10. I'm going to get this video out to you. Obviously there's the Monday night match